And where is the... Oh, there you are. Nordibek right now with the black pieces and Prague with the white pieces. So this is round number what? Round number 4? Let me just quickly check. Round number 4, rapid. So we are going to have, let me check the schedule. August the 13th, we're going to have round number 4, 5, and 6. 6 at 10 p.m. Jesus. I'm not sure I'm going to stay 10 p.m. unless I'm having like a 1 million viewers or something. If it's 1 million viewers, I'll probably stay 10. If not, no. Okay, cool. Are we live on TikTok? I think we're live on TikTok. I think we're live freaking everywhere. So let me go to events and the games and the boards. Spectacular games. Which one shall we look at? I mean, it's just... They all gorgeous. They absolutely, all of them are great. Okay, sound should be fine here. Let me look. Okay. Sound should be okay. Everything should be in order, including the TikTok and stuff. All right. Hey, Simpson. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Oh, man, I should put those beverages in a fridge. So I can take a very cold, nice one. Okay. Right, so here we are, Simpson. Here we are, covering this chess event. Hikaru Black, Alireza White. There's so many beautiful games, rapid games this evening. I don't know what to look at first, honestly. Let's have a look here. Whose turn is it? White's turn to play. Hey, what is the Black King doing on E8 uncastled yet? What's going on here? I mean, it looks like White is doing very comfortably in this position. White is very happy here. King is nice and safe. Black's bishop on d7, the light square, the black bishop is not that happy. And the bishop on f8 didn't even play. Hasn't been developed. Knights just stay, one of them on the rim, the other f5 in case for a replacement being needed here. There is a rook on the c. I can notice. Okay, there is a knight for the time being. I think white is more comfortable. Oh man, the ice cream van is making super noise on the street here. The ice cream van person. A4, A4, supporting B5 white pawn and maybe making space for the bishop. Yeah, but black would say thank you very much because then bishop takes your bishop and then you have to take with the rook because if you take with the knight, c3 is falling. So then you got an issue. Anyway, a4, make sure the b5 pawn is properly protected and maybe you want to play at some point what? Queen d2 and then some knight a3, but why? How do you defend c3? Well, I guess you can play bishop d2 or something. Right? I think you can play bishop d2 and then some knight a3. How do you maneuver your pieces? You got to get those guys in the game somehow. What did he play? Apology. Oh, he played a4. So Nakamura's turn. Yeah, and looks like black doesn't have a lot of space. I mean, you can do just bishop b7, right? If you want to castle short, if that's what you want to do. Then queen may play here at some point. It's quite a little bit of pressure here. Quite a little bit of pressure on the king side. And black doesn't enjoy too much space. The only thing they've got is the rook attacking c3. But also I think black has the possibility to play a6 and undermining this b5, a4. You know? There's also available to do that. Those guys will be very quickly dismantled. But I think for black also, important not to leave the king on castle for too long. You can't just keep him on e8. You got to do something. Okay, let's peruse through the other beautiful, beautiful games. I don't know what to look at. They're all just magnificent. Nordibek, Prague here. Prague, Nordibek. 17 minutes, 21. Blackstone to play here. King E1 hasn't been castled. What are you doing? English opening, Great Snake. Okay, I have to say, I haven't heard of this sub variation. Great Snake. Who gives those names? Anyway. C4, G6, E4, E5. I like this. It's a little bit resembling the Yugoslav attack with F3 and then G4 and things. G4 and H5 probably. But you castle long, asking for a friend. And the last move, bishop e6 with the knight, they target c4 together. And white defends it only with a piece. So you can't just ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. You got to do something. And if you do b3 to defend c4, knight on c3 potentially long term might suffer as a big, big, big weakness. So you see, you can play b3, but then this diagonal becomes incredibly, incredibly difficult to sustain. For white, that is. Black would say thank you. So you do b3, but comes at a big cost. And don't forget, guys, that white hasn't castled yet. And is he going to castle? And now the question, I think, for white is, how do you defend c4? You can't allow knight takes c4. Let me just highlight. You got a problem then here. You've got a problem on b2. You can't just let c4, right? You got to do something. So what do you play? What is Prague going to play here? Actually, the question is difficult. I don't have a satisfactory answer for this. I don't manage to find something now. If I were to be Prague with the white pieces, I don't know what I can play so that I say yes, I'm content. What I play makes me happy or something. I can't find anything good for white. I don't know what you play. You could do queen to e2 or something, but it feels horrible. I just hate it because I'm blocking my bishop. I'm putting my queen in front of my bishop, blocking access to, you're just blocking your bishop in. Horrible. b3, if you want to defend, again, weakens the dark square diagonal. Horrible. Hey, Matthew, good to see you. Thanks very much for your kind messages and your feedback online. I put a link to your last question about the online chess club. I've got a chess.com online chess club, and that might be used for the time being until we decide differently and stuff. So you're more than welcome to. So what did Prague played here? He spent a couple of minutes. He went queen d2. So because you said you're rooting for Ali Reza, we're going to go to Ali Reza's games. So queen d2, bishop e3 battery here. Wait a sec. I got to go back a little bit. So knight took on e6, opening up the f. Look at this. And queen to d2, battery now, aiming at h6 for sure. Aiming at h6. So sooner or later, my friends, Prague is going to play bishop e3 to h6 and getting this guy out of the board. And now Nordibek has to decide what to play. This is a beautiful game, but let's go to Ali Reza's game because we've got someone rooting for Ali Reza. So let's see. Ali Reza, where are you? He's got a very difficult evening, so to speak. He's playing the king of the speed chess, Hikaru Nakamura. And tough one. Now he enjoys something like 4 extra minutes available. I can see that. Ali Reza. King Castle. I think white king is safer than the black king, Matthew. So it's good from this point of view. That's cool. And great. More complicated seems to be having blacks here because you need to find a way to develop the bishop, which I think will be very modest, just to e7, bishop e7, and then castle short. Now let me have a quick look at the TikTok chat if I got any friends. There is a few friends coming and going, coming and going. So thanks, my friends, for joining, even if you stay a few minutes or so. So I appreciate your presence. We're doing chess here on this channel. So if you are a chess enthusiast or if you want to learn maybe a couple of things, you're welcome. Everyone is welcome. Okay. So they've been thinking for a while. Nakamura been thinking for a while here, Matthew. I got to tell you, he spent a couple of good minutes here. To me, that seems the only stuff I could consider now. Or a6. Okay, let's just remind that bishop e7 is something you could play in order to castle short or something. You need to get bishop anyway. And a6 as well is going to happen sooner or later. So you can dismantle those guys. Okay. Let me go to Nepomniachtchi Wesley. We've got Fabi MVL, Dominguez Perez, and oh my God, what did he play? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait a sec. Wait a sec. So Hikaru went for knight captures d4, which very likely pawn will take straight away. I don't think you do anything else here, right? So he's gonna take on d4. Queen's gonna take or not? You're gonna take, right? Because that's the ticket to a little bit more freedom and more space options and stuff. Anyway, I think it's a forced move. Is there anything else here apart from taking the knight? Why wouldn't you take the knight? You have to take the knight, right? Knight takes, queen takes. And then if you try to do something like bishop e2, I think the queen will not trade, but wait a second, there is also this guy, Ampre. So if you take and queen takes, queen hits the rook in a corner. So what do you do? Hey, David. How's it going, man? Okay, so notice this, pawn takes, queen takes. What do you do with the rook on a1, if I may ask? What do you play with that rook? How do you defend the rook after queen captures d4? Okay, I'm just drinking this stuff now that should keep me going. Some chilling energy drink something. So that should keep me going for 1 or 2 rounds of rapid or so. And I'm just looking for a plan here after pawn takes. Do you know what's interesting? I thought that you're supposed to take automatically the knight back because you just gave them a piece. Not sponsored yet. No, not yet. I'm not sponsored yet. So yeah, there's still hope though. Not just yet. Who knows? Maybe on TikTok some company might be seeing and my 1 million viewers, right? But that's okay because you guys are the best. Okay, so I guess that was supposed to be automatic. CD, Queen D. This guy is hit. Where do you go? Where do you play? You're gonna play Rook A2? Maybe, right? Can you not take? I mean, this kind of stuff. No, he hits the queen. That's what I like about his guys. They always come up with something absolutely crushing. Absolutely crushing. A5, attacking the queen. What could be more ruthless here? And also stopping the connection in between queen and the knight. So before you take back your stuff, he hits the queen. Queen went c5 and now bishop a3. What's not to like about this, guys? Look at this. Just look at this. It's just unbelievable. So queen to c7 now, it's a must, right? I mean, you got to do queen c7. I don't think there is any other stuff. Or do you want to play something like knight e2, knight f3 because you're going to lose that knight regardless? Is he planning on this? I mean, the black knight is going to be taken. Of course, the bishop on f8 is going to... Okay, yeah, there you go, knight e2. There you go. Knight e2 first. So given the fact that that knight would be captured regardless, why giving white a pawn on d4 supporting e5? So he said, no, I'm going to leave this backward pawn as a weakness for white. He played knight e2, queen c7, exactly as I mentioned, because it's pretty much forced. And now probably bishop captures f8. Okay, let's go to another game, guys. Praga Nodibek. Oh, he didn't move nothing. Oh, yes, actually, they did play a couple of things. So, Nodibek came with knight h5. Knight h5. Okay, there is a g3 idea. I think the knight potentially may want to play knight g3, attacking rook and bishop. I don't think that's bad. Not bad at all. Now, if rook were to go to g1, this guy is hanging. Let me draw another blue arrow. This pawn on h4 is hanging. If rook goes away from the h-file, that might be a thing. So you got to be careful about that. So I notice when these guys are playing, they are creating... They try as a reply to create another problem for the other for the other guy. They always try to create a bigger problem. I notice it's like a habit for these guys, for strong, really strong chess players. They create counterplay. Someone creates a threat, the opponent comes with a bigger threat, or at least tries to create a bigger threat. And they do a lot of in-between moves, and it's just great. It's absolutely great. So Nodibek now, when he played knight, definitely wants to say, I might do knight g3. And now probably that is kind of delaying white from committing with the h6 ideas. Bishop h6. You normally want to remove the king's defender here, and that g7, if that bishop disappears, you could say that the dark squares are weak. Knight c2 for white, yes. Also, Matthew, it's worth noting that the move knight c2 blocks the bishop. So, yes, that's correct. You do stop knight g3, but there is another issue here. It's knight c4. After you play, Matthew, knight e2, knight captures c4. They took a pawn from you, and they hit your queen, your beautiful bishop, not mentioning the b2, but forget about the b2. We're talking about the queen being targeted and the bishop forked. So, knight c2, I think it might be a bit of a blunder. I think. Unless you consider some other stuff. But I think it's a blunder, knight c2. Probably you noticed, my friends, I'm not using any software during the live games that I'm covering. So yeah, could be. I like your idea, David. Castle long. I like it. It makes a lot of sense. And all of a sudden, it increases the attack on the d file, and d6 being targeted twice because the rook is on d1 after long castling. So I like it. That makes sense. Castle long, attack on d6, and still a threat here with bishop h6 and exchanging that king's defender. And I suspect after knight g3, I don't know what you're playing. You're going to move the rook, but where? It could be a crazy idea. You could very well go rook h3. You're maintaining your rook on the h-file. You're still defending h4 against the queen capturing. You attack yourself the knight. So I think castle long is great. And play rook h3 after knight g3. And I think it's great. And you still have the chance to dream maybe if that knight goes back, you're going to be... You have to carefully push g4 because f3 is still hanging and you're going to lose everything. So you got to be careful. Maybe castle long, knight here, knight g3, rook h3, knight goes back, bishop e2, and then you push g4. Does that work? Probably. Probably. But castle long definitely an option. I think it's a good idea for Prague here. Let's see how he plays though. Oh, he played rook h3. I wasn't even aware because I don't have the moves. So okay, rook h3. I'm happy because I did say about rook h3. So I'm really happy I've actually mentioned an idea that Prague did consider as a good one. So that stops knight g3. And as we said, there is no light square bishop. So rook h3 is super safe for the time being. You only need to play some bishop to e2, and then you're gonna push g4 including. So it looks absolutely magnificent. What a fabulous game. What a fabulous game. I absolutely love it. Let's see another great game. I haven't looked at Nepomniachtchi Wesley. Hey, look at this. Wesley, very slow today. Wesley, 8 minutes. Well, almost 9. Nepomniachtchi, 17 minutes. Okay. Okay. I think white is a bit more active. The white rook is very active. And look at this. Let me count the pawns. One pawn island here, right? So these guys are connected, and that's cool. B2 can't be attacked for the time being. And you've got 2 pawn islands. They're all connected and stuff. And the white rook is super active. But I guess king moves the e6. You have to do king e6, right? You attack the rook, you protect f5, and the rook gonna have to go back. There you go. Well, he doesn't go back. He plays something weird looking like e4. Playing e4. Personally, I would have played probably rook d2. But not this guy's. e4. The idea being, my friends, if the pawn takes, rook's gonna take g5. So f5 takes e4, and then white rook takes on g5, right? That's the stuff. And then if you have a chance, you might be playing rook g7. Yeah, and if the king goes after you, I mean, you know, black king has to be very careful. Again, if pawn takes, white rook takes g5 immediately. Then if the king chases your guy, then I don't know where you're going. Well, you go back or something. Rook a4, f3 had been played right now. Pawn takes, you don't take back, you actually take g5, right? So this is, there you go. So they take, and he took on g5, exactly. That's what I thought it would be the move. There you go. Takes on rook g5. Obviously, if this guy takes, you're going to take back. That's a forcing move. That's exactly what it's going to be. If they take. On the other hand, you need to do something forcing with black now, like a check. Or you need to attack the rook. Because if you don't, white's going to play this move immediately, rook g7, attacking b7 and attacking h7. So you got to be super careful. Black actually attempted to activate the black rook on a4, hoping for some activity on the 4th rank, let's say. Black to play, so probably taken on f3. And then you're going to take with what? With the pawn or with the king? That's another question. That's another question. You want to keep the king closer to this pawn island, the one on the left? You're going to take with the pawn, or you're going to take with the king, maintaining this guy's connected, so to speak. So that's a whole question. If e4 captures f3, you're going to take with the king, or you're going to take with a pawn. If you take with a pawn, you're going to have isolated pawn h5, isolated pawn f3. Are you sure? Okay. It looks like it's 2 big options with enormous consequences. Probably determines the result of the game, right? If I may say that. He took, exactly as I said, he decided to take with the king. And I think the main reason is because he wants to keep connected those two white pawns, this one and this one. And king f6, exactly as I said, king f6 attacks the rook, does not allow rook g7, which would be disaster for black if you allow that white rook on g7. Too much rook activity, which, by the way, rook still wants to go to the 7th rank, but this time on d7. And I guess the black king's going to do exactly king e6. He's going to go back to not allow the rook to play this. Which, by the way, they can go rook e8, so to speak. And took the king because white wants to play g4. So he didn't isolate his pawns. He keeps them together. That's the main reason. He maintains the pawn island intact and connected. So that is very cool. Now, if it's king e6 or not, I don't know what to say. Or maybe what? King e7? Just not allowing the white queen any, the white rook any entry point? I mean, you might get checked, but you don't allow the white queen to go anywhere. And very importantly, not d7. So if you want to not allow the queen, you will have to play e7, king e7, right? You will get checked, but you're going to attack the rook. Back on f6, if rook e5, right? So I guess this kind of stuff. We'll see. Certainly, Wesley spent some time here. 4 minutes. And Ian is like 18 minutes. A huge time gap in between the two players. No way, sir. Wesley comes with, he calculated differently. He goes with rook d4, which does stop white rook from going anywhere on the back ranks, and wants to say, you're going to take me, I'm going to take you. Question being, though, I'm going to play king e4, and you cannot protect your black pawn isolated. And the black king actually will attempt to take this guy, and probably is going to be successful. And even if you play g4, it's going to take first the g4. You don't have any passed pawns here. Very difficult ending. Very difficult ending. I'm not sure white should accept this, though. But if you don't accept, where do you go? So, actually, you have to accept. Apologies. You will have to take the rook. You have to take the rook. You can't go anywhere. You lose it. You lose the rook on any square you try to go. So you have to capture the black rook. That's what we call a forcing move, right? Yeah, there you go. And pawn takes. It's very difficult to say who's going to do it. Okay, so king e4, right? King e4, there you go. Very difficult, Matthew. Crazy difficult. Exactly as I said. King e4, attack this guy. Black king attacks this and attacks this and wants to create a pass pawn with the h7. Very difficult. Crazy difficult. And if the white king wants to support this pawn island, the black pawn comes down. So you can't have them all. You just can't have them all. And if you want to do something with the b2 and a3 pawns, you need to remove those two pawns. So it takes you a billion years, so to speak. So by the looks of it, I think black's doing better here. I mean, you may even dream about winning. Oh, what happened? Takes, moves. Oh my God. Gee. So a second, what the heck's going on? Are these guys playing? Oh, they drew. Okay. Okay, let me go quickly perusing through the moves. Jesus. Queen. Yeah, okay. Very difficult, though. I find it very difficult. What have we got live? 4 more brilliant games here. Okay, let's look at Ali Reza with Hikaru. What have we got? And finally, Black Castle the king. Finally. Bishop f8. Why bishop f8? Do you want to play g6 or something? He want to play g6 and bishop g7? No, he want to play g6 for bishop h6. That's why he want to play. That's why he played bishop f8, because he plans, if I'm correct, he planned g6, bishop h6. White goes with h4. I think he also intends to play g4. And then some queen to e4. In what order exactly? G6 is going to happen anyway. So bishop f8 had been played preparing g6 and then bishop g7 or h6 just to strengthening the dark squares around the black king. We're not in Zugzwang yet, I guess, Matthew. In this game, if you're talking about this game, Ali Reza with Hikaru, Black's turn to play. I think g6 is something that he wants to do. g6, bishop g7, or bishop h6, one of these. And yeah. Oh my god, bishop e8. Look at these pieces. Can you actually believe this, guys? Look at, I mean, just look at that thing. Look at the black pieces, how they arrange themselves on the back rank. Just look at that. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, just look at that. You tell me, what do you think? Look at this, guys, how they stay aligned. Look at this. So if white will capture on f5 the bishop, you're going to have all the black pieces on the back rank. I don't know what to say about this. I've never seen that before. That's an asymmetry here. I don't know what to say. This is... But you know what's interesting? The two black rooks just simply attack. Yeah, exactly. They just attack on C and D. The bishop on f8 is purely defensive. The bishop on e8 also quite defensive. It keeps an eye on the b5, but... And the queen just targets this guy, which is already supported 3 times. So you're not going to take that guy anytime soon. Unless you do whatever, something else. It's just so awkward. Look at all these pieces. It's just unbelievable. 2 rooks, 2 bishops on the back rank. Move number? What move number is that? Move number 23. Gee. Can you believe that? Okay, what's Ali Reza gonna do? Is he gonna take the knight for the sake of the aesthetics, to having... And also, when you take the knight, black is forced to take, and you might be able to push the e6, and then you're gonna activate a monster of a bishop. An absolute monster. So again, if bishop d3 captures, they will have to take back. And in that moment, move number 24, black will have all the pieces on the back rank, all of them. And white would have created an incredibly powerful diagonal and attacking. And maybe combined with this pawn, it might be quite serious for black. Anyway, looks like white is having the initiative. So do you take the knight on f5 or not? Or do you take queen e4 and then you're going to push g4? But probably black has time to play g6 and actually blocking your battery. What can I say? It's possible. Possible. So queen e4, one candidate move. Bishop takes f5, another candidate move. g4, another one possible. So one of these 3, I think. Queen e4, bishop takes g4. Which one is it? I see. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying, Matthew. I didn't know exactly what endgame. Yeah. So, chess, man. Cool. What is Ali Reza gonna do? We're gonna find out. In the meantime, let's have a look at another one. Which one? Oh, yeah, this one. Prague, 3 minutes. Oh man, that's also so nice and sharp. Okay, let me just go back a little bit. Just a little. Bishop takes, queen takes, pawn takes. Okay, knight g7. Bishop e2 attacking the knight on f3 twice. Knight goes e5 to safety. And this knight can't be challenged by any pawn. So that's what we call in chess, my friends, an outpost. This is an outpost for the black knight. h5 now, because you practically want to open up the h and stuff, and maybe you're going to do some very dangerous batteries. So he pushed a pawn. Actually, looks like Prague is going to win. Simply white's better here. You're very comfortable with white. The king is so nice and cool. And white also enjoys the bishop pair. It's worth saying that actually the bishop pair here for white is very powerful. And also you will be opening up, you take on g, right? And they either take with a pawn or with the knight. I'm not sure if it's relevant because you can't really stop rook d1 to h1. So he took, and he exactly as we speak, he captured, and rook takes h5. And do you want to know something? Rook dh1 is going to happen. And the black knight can't jump on f6 to help with anything because the white pawn stops it. Rook, this desperate thing. Rook tries to provide some defense for the h7. What is white going to do? What is white going to play? I think I will do... Well, you could do many things. You could do many things here. You could do many things. You could do exactly what I showed on the screen. You could do rook h6 and attack e6, right? You could... Should you do rook g1 and then push g6? No, you can't. There is a knight. Okay, what else? Can you do bishop? Oops. Okay, let me do the candidate moves. Maybe this move in order to cap. Oops. Bishop d4 in order to take. Right? And the pawn is pinned. They can't take. That would be one. Maybe you can. Yes, Matthew, I've read your message. I think it makes sense what you're saying. That's what I thought myself as well. So bishop d4 to take the knight because the pawn is pinned. And if you play bishop d4, you threaten to take a piece for free. It's just that. It's serious. I mean, you take a piece for free. So bishop d4 is quite a strong move. If you make a rook battery, it can never be wrong having a battery. Or rook g1 in order to... No, you can't push. We said that. Okay, so either battery or bishop d4. What else is here? Rook h6. Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, how do they defend the pawn after all? That's a good question. Well, they're going to play some rook over to e7, right? Rook h6. There you go. As soon as I finalized the my inner dialogue, Prague just moved rook to h6. How are you going to defend this? Well, you're going to have to move the rook over to e7. If you don't do this, you lose the pawn. How are you going to defend e6? Well, you know something? At least I'm happy that one of the 3-4 candidate moves actually is being played by these guys. So I'm quite content, happy with this. And I'm sure you've seen also, guys, the moves. Was this Fabi MVL? I have no idea what this guy's played up to this moment because I didn't watch this game. I don't even know what's going on here. Oh my god, there's so many things happening. There's so many happenings. Whose turn is it? MVL. He's black. Okay. What's going on with the queen here? Why did he play the queen? What was the queen? Queen to c6 moved away from the rook. Oh, okay. At least I understand now. And not just that. He moved the queen away from the c file, but it's not just moving away from the potential of the rook attacking. There is also maybe something to do with queen to h3. Or maybe queen g4. Well, it is about the light squares. Let's just put it this way. Queen to e6, it's about the light squares. That's exactly what it's about. And of course, we can debate if F, if G, or if H3. We can debate about this. Maybe queen to G4, and then he's going to try something to open up the H, queen to G, and then pushing this. Okay, so white moved away from the potential double attack on the knight. You would have been pinned if you moved the king on G2. Quite a nasty pin, you see. I hate the pins when someone is doing to me, and I love when I'm doing the pins for my opponents. I love to pin their knights to the king or to the queen. Still good. And it works a treat in the bullet games when you just you play the forcing moves and you winning your seconds, your fraction of a second with the forcing move. Okay, what's this? Bishop moving away from being captured. And maybe threatening some bishop g4, attacking the queen, or bishop h3. Or do first bishop g4, and then you're going to play bishop h3. And you can play g5 anyway. Because I think black wants to open up those pawns, those columns and stuff. That makes sense. You do want to open up and to challenge those pawns. I think g5 just does that. Or they take, you're going to take, okay? We'll see. Let's go to Hikaru. Again, Alireza. White, Hikaru, black. Ooh, what? Hey, exactly as I said. Bishop takes f5. Look at this one, Matthew and David. And now, ladies and gents, we reached the point. Move number what? Move number 27, in which Hikaru has all the pieces on the back rank. Look and despair. Look and despair. All the pieces on the back rank. I mean, just look at this. Can you actually believe that? Move number 27. And exactly as I bloody said, e6 opening the bishop. I did say this comment previously. I did say it. e6 because for all the good reasons ever. It opens up the bishop, first thing. Also, secondly, or vice versa if you want. It's very important to push the pawn and challenge things here, or threatening the fork. It's just great. So rook takes, rook captures, of course. Queen. So you really you may want to be careful with capturing. I guess queen's going to take. You're going to play the bishop here, but then you're going to lose this guy here. And I don't know what to say. It's a lot of pressure on the king side. Now, when the bishop is here, I don't even... Oh my god, this is incredibly... Knight g5, adding more fuel to the fire, because we've got those two weaknesses. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Queen takes. Queen takes, knight takes, forking, knight and bishop. Rook threatens the incredibly powerful bishop. Bishop to d4. Very weird. My god, this is so weird. I thought that bishop a1 might be the best stuff, but of course, he always knows better. Bishop d4. I mean, if you move the knight, you're going to lose the bishop. That's the thing. That's why I don't like to put my pieces in a sort of conditioning situation here. That bishop's life depends entirely on the knight. Yeah, okay, you can take the bishop on f8, right? I understand that. I understand. But still. Okay. Yeah, it does attack a7 at the same time. It does. It does. So I assume if they did now, if Hikaru plays bishop f7, your knight's going to take on f8, right? And then king's going to take. And then you're going to take a pawn. Maybe it looks like white's going to win after all. I think Alireza is very comfortable, and he absolutely is enjoying having this position against Hikaru. It's a good material for another YouTube video in which you... Yeah, that doesn't look like a draw. It does not look like a draw here. I don't think so. I don't think that's a draw. I really, really don't think it's a draw. Not this one. Not on this watch. It's going to be super exciting because actually they're going to do bullet chess very, very soon, which is highly entertaining for everybody. Yes, he does try to create complications, but actually, Ali Reza also loves complications. This young wolf doesn't have a problem. And okay, he didn't play bishop f7. He played bishop d7, now hitting the defender of the bishop. The bishop, targeted by the rook, the bishop is defended by the knight. And now black attacks the knight. So I suspect you gotta take on f8, right? Right? No way, sir. Look at this beautiful move. Bishop e3, it's phenomenal. Bishop e3 attacks the rook. Again, what I like first thing about these guys is the fact that they respond to a threat with a bigger threat. So that's what they do. So one of them makes a threat and the other guy comes with a bigger threat. And that's how they play chess. Whereas I myself, I would have maybe out of panic, made of bad habit or something, I would have just looked to trade something quickly, not to lose it, not to lose material and stuff. But these guys are so resourceful and they just amazing way to play chess. Now, what do? Do you take on f8 or what the hell do you do? Do you do knight c5? What do you do here? You play knight f4 and then grab a pawn? Well, you're going to lose b5. I mean, what exactly are you going to play? I would take the bishop probably because I fear my opponent's bishops. I don't want to let black having the bishop pair here. There you go. Oh, finally, I gotta move. So knight takes f8, king takes f8, and now the bigger question: do you take on a7 or not? Of course, they're gonna take on b5. Oh, don't tell me it's gonna be a draw now. I thought it's incredibly tactical and very complicated and stuff, but actually, if we keep trading, it might be a draw after all. No. He plays a6. He fixes a weakness. The pawn on a7 is on a dark square. He wants to make... But wait a minute. a6. Okay, you threatened take, actually, and stuff, so they gotta take. And then you take. And then they play bishop b5. And then you take. And then the bishop takes. What exactly did you do? Yeah, they're gonna be a draw. Matthew, I think this is one of the best way to improve your chess is actually watching in real time a live game in between the likes like Alireza and Hikaru and try to think every single move in the process of the game. And you're going to be very satisfied with yourself when you're going to see that at least you cover with your candidate moves the move that they actually played. So the more you're able to identify the moves, the better your chess gradually will become. I'm very much certain of it. It's one of the best things you could do for your individual chess. Well, this is the Grand Chess Tour, and I think it's the fourth and the last leg this year. San Luis Rapid and Blitz. So, okay. So now he put b7 to b6. But let me tell you something interesting. There is also the potential for a sacrifice here. Bishop takes b6, and if you capture, I'm going to go. And you can't play bishop c6 because I got a pawn. My God, this is more complicated than I thought. I think, my friends, if I'm not mistaken, that bishop wants take on b6. Okay, but it was Blackstone. Apologies. Now, is it check or... My God, these guys are moving so fast. Of course, it's bullet chess. Okay, he's got a very, very advanced a7 white pawn. Very advanced. And after bishop takes b6, that pawn is untouchable. You're going to go the bishop back. You're not going to touch that pawn. Actually, you might have a big issue here. I think Hikaru gonna kind of lose, right? You could even just sacrifice, I guess. Bang, boom, bang. There you go, bishop e6, exactly. That's exactly what I said. But then look at this bishop. Oh man, what do you play? Rook wait, rook b8, right? Oh wow. It's rook b8, right? So Hikaru was actually with 28 seconds. Alireza 1 minute 20. What do you play? What if you play bishop e3 first? Is it? Or, okay, two candidate moves. Rook b8 or bishop e3. Which one is it? No, none of them. Rook c8. So he took on b6, right? Oh my god, white's winning. That's it. No? Oh man, that was a move with the tempo. That was a move with the tempo. Check on a1, and then you moved on a1. And, I mean, it was on the b check, and then he moved on a1. Does not allow this. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That was incredibly tactical and very difficult. Very difficult when you're having less than a minute. So now the black rook is glued to the a file. They can't move away. Unless you just check or things. You can't move away from the a file. White rook can stay on b7 for a while. I don't know. Maybe they, okay. But this guy will be constantly targeted by the king. You're going to have to keep the black rook looking for that guy, protecting it. Now that is so interesting. King e2. What is black playing? If you move the pawn, king's going to take, keeping the pawns connected and together. Okay, h5. Is this a draw? King f3 back. And the black king is checkable a lot. Like a lot. I still don't have a very, very, very certain answer to this question. King d3. He pushed the gf. Is it time to check and try and see if you can grab some black pawns and give up on the a7, or you keep the a7 still? You try to get closer with the... No, is the king trying to attack the rook now? Well, first thing first, you're going to take on g5, right? Or not? I mean, actually, if you take on g5, you're going to get the black king closer. They're going to find the gap to hide away from your rook, so to speak. But this is so difficult. So he takes, king's going to take. Obviously, are you going to play f3 to stop it? Or you're going to keep the start? Or you're going to move the king towards the black rook? King c3, king b3, right? Rook's going to go up and down, I guess. No, he wants to actually attack the rook and make its way to protect this pawn and free up the white rook. That's the plan. This is the plan, guys. The plan is to attack the rook and try to find your way to supporting the b7 pawn one way or another. And he wants to move the rook freely, and yeah. So I guess white's winning. So you're going to make your way up. Zigzagging or something. I don't know how exactly, but that's what you're going to do. Bang. If they go here, you're going to move up. They check you, you're going to go a5. They check you, you're going to go b6. So sooner or later, the king going to touch base with the a7. There you go. Exactly as I said. He's desperate. Hikaru, you could just play rook to h or something. And that's about it. Oh man, these guys are relentless. Rook g7. Giving up on the h? Why? Okay, so he gave the H-pawn. Okay, at least I was right about this plan with the white king marching towards protecting the pawn. So I was right about this. King b5, king b6 to protect the pawn and free up the rook. And the rook cuts off the king completely. Does not allow the king to do nothing in terms of playing g3 and attacking f3. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So I think, yes, David, I think, yes, Hikaru is in trouble. That's how I think the plan. That's what I would do. I would try get my king to protect the pawn. Perhaps b7 and something. I'm maybe building a... Wait a sec, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to get the king on A. I'm going to build up a shield or something. I'm going to move the king away and then push the pawn, right? Okay, long story short, let's just get the king on b6, b7. We take it from there. The black rook will have to stay on the a file forever. Well, they could go on the b just to check you on things, but I think white should be winning, right? Oh my god. King b5, exactly what I would have played. King b5. There's not too many options for black here. I think Hikaru is a little bit unhappy. I don't think he's very thrilled. I mean, he is thrilled, but he's not chill. He's actually, yeah, exactly. He just doesn't like it. He hates it. Yes. Yes. And now, let's ask the Almighty, how exactly is the plan here? So, okay, so black king h2, king h4, rook a3, they don't mean a bloody thing. Moving king up and down, rook up and down, that doesn't mean nothing. The plan for white is king b6, exactly. King b6, rook b2, king b6, rook b2, check. King c7, rook c2, king b8, rook b2 check, rook b7, right? So, yeah, shielding the king from the check. Exactly right. A8 queen. So I was right. Bing, bang, boom, and the check, and then rook shields the king from the checks, and he's ready to push this guy. Okay. So, yeah, I was actually right about this plan. I've seen it some time ago, and it's just great. Absolutely fabulous check. And that was just round number 4. They're going to be doing more rapids. Phenomenal games. Absolutely phenomenal. Let's look at Prague, my friends. Prague and Nordibek. Absolutely fabulous. Really? Some folks would say exactly the opposite of your statement. That's okay, guys. It's absolutely perfectly fine to root for one grandmaster, or it's absolutely perfectly fine. I'm just enjoying the spectacular chess they are producing. I absolutely enjoy it. I absolutely love it. All right. Let's see, my friend. So, Prague has an extra pawn. There is a thing here. The c5 white pawn is being targeted twice. So, probably it's a draw. Probably it's a draw. The white king can move on a2. Therefore, you would be kind of safe, so to speak, from checks and stuff. So that's a check. There you go. Exactly as I said. And if there is any rook a1, you're going to go b3. So I think it might be drawish. What do you think? Is this a draw or not? Is this a draw or not? How are you going to make progress? Because black's going to check you all day here. And forget about the c5. The c5 is doesn't really... I mean, it exists, but can disappear any minute, any second. I think black's going to go for, like, perpetual checks here. I'm not sure what Prague can play. Okay, check, right. So he took the pawn, okay. I think it's a draw, right? I think it's a draw. I think. Rook a1, king b2 or king b3, rook fb1, check and check and check and check. Exactly. Exactly what I said. There you go. That's the perpetual check that I said. It's going to be like perpetual check now. That's it. Exactly. Draw. Exactly as I said, I don't think you have any chance to push this guy because black rooks are going to check you all day. So they're going to be a draw, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, or correct me if you think there's a secret plan for, if it's a secret plan for white to win, but I don't see it. I don't think so. I think that's about it. I think that's it. They should probably draw. You can't make any progress here. I don't think it's fair game. It's 1 pawn each, and you can't make anything. You can't force any pawn to go forwards or nothing. You're going to be checked forever. You actually have to be careful with white, because if you miss it, if you don't play king back to b, if you go, say, d3, black is going to take a3 with check, and then you might actually lose. So white has to be very careful. It's very interesting. Nordibek still wants to fight here. I guess he wants to push the pawn and maybe... I mean, you can't make any move with the black king because the rook just cuts it off completely. At the same time, king to b5 stops a4. If you ever dreamt about pushing, you can't really... Well, you can't leave this guy alone, can you? So actually a4 is kind of playable. a4 check, you can't really take because this guy's gonna take you here, but then you're gonna take the other guy. Oh my god, this is too time consuming. I'm so happy I don't have to play this in bullet with 10 seconds on the clock. I don't want to have this with 6 seconds on the clock. I can't. It's too time consuming for me. I would panic and play something horrible. My instincts would tell me now just check the other guy's king forever and forget about it. I like to actually think about the moves. I like to feel comfortable to having some time on my clock and things. And I hate playing 10 seconds on the clock. Yeah, I think it's going to be a draw now. The wisest thing for Nordibek would be just rook b8, rook b1, rook a1, and forget about it all. Right? Or do you think you have a glimpse and a big revelation now? Everything has been laid out, laid clear. Is he? Oh my god, he did. Yet you see the fighting spirits in this guy, and rook b check, for Christ's sake. Now you're gonna have to move the king. You're in check. There's non-negotiable. It's not negotiable. King moves. Check again. You're gonna move. Whoop. Maybe he should have drawn, yeah? What can I say? There you go. Check. You're gonna have to move the king. Not negotiable. Where do you go? Doesn't matter where do you go. Apparently he moved. Or king a6. Can you believe that, actually? King a6. Man, this guy's... Okay, king b2, attacking the black rook, right? So this is live game, guys. It's not recorded or anything. This is a very, very much live game. Okay, guys, this is a draw, right? Hey, that was something very creative because my colleague Xavier, the young wolf that I played, he created something very, very weird. There was a double pawns on the E, and he said he kind of like played it before, and the engine is, oh, we checked with the software. And the software didn't have any issue with the move 95 that he played, Yash. Thanks very much for signaling this. So the software was perfectly happy with his choice. It's just for fun, Matthew. I don't take it seriously. It's just when I'm commuting or something, okay, I'm playing 1 minute just to do something, you know, and play some bullet chess. But you can't take it seriously unless you play the title Tuesday and you take like a few $1,000. Or I don't know what's the check. So a bullet chess is just for fun, so to speak. And it is based a lot, in my experience, it is based a lot on forced moves. So you make a pin to the other guy, and if you want to win a fraction of a second, you take the knight, you check the king, and you play a pre-move. Pre-moves are essential in bullet. And when you do the conditioning move, you take the knight on f3 with the bishop on g4, you know you threatening the queen, so probably guy was going to take back, you assume, right? And you play a pre-move something else, knight c6 or bishop e7, ready for castling. And it's based a lot on pre-moves. So you need to have that intuition, staying super focused. You have the intuition, you play forcing moves as much as you can so that you can pre-move and, flag the guy eventually or checkmate them or something. If you get to think too much in the bullet, you're done. It doesn't matter your position is better, you're winning or something. It doesn't mean a thing. So a lot of forcing moves and a lot of pre-moving in the bullet. Again, I'm not a great bullet player. I'm awful. I mean, I am enjoying the rapids way more, or classical perhaps, so I can sit down and think and grab my drinks and think about what I'm doing. So, fellas, gonna be like rapid round number 5, 8:30, which is meant to be in 3 minutes from now. And let's see the results here. MVL with 6 after round what? After round number 3, I guess. Round number 4 hadn't been adjudicated, yes. I mean, they didn't update the results, I guess. I think. Okay, what's the fixtures? Okay, Dominguez, Perez, Nepomniachtchi, MVL, Alireza. Oh, what a another beautiful game. Hikaru Levon, Nordbeck Fabi, Wesley Prague. Great games. Absolutely great games. Fabulous games. So let me say again hello to my TikTokers and guys on YouTube and Twitch and whichever the platform you chose to visit the stream. Thank you, my friends. So Yash, coming back now to that thing. Yeah, we played the Sicilian. And there was something I've never had before, that sub variation with the move he did, knight e5. Also, I didn't expect him to play knight b8 d7. I was expecting him to play knight c6 to attack my queen with tempo, but he played knight b8 d7. There was a couple of moves that I didn't expect, and I think that made it very beautiful. So yeah, I definitely have to look into the archives and see if there's something popping up with that variation he played. Yeah. So these guys are supposed to be starting any second now. Well, when he does the Title Tuesday, he also streams live and he talks, he communicates with his audience whilst he plays. So the guy is just a legend. I mean, I've never understood how it's possible for him to playing incredibly strong grandmasters in bullet and also to listening to music and talking about things and explaining for the audience. I mean, it's just a different league, you know. So these guys are phenomenal, really. I think Hikaru is the king of speed, chess and stuff. But anyway, he lost to Alireza. So I think he's a little bit upset now. He's a bit yeah, that might be another yeah, that might be a good alternative answer, Matthew. That's true. That's true. 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 He doesn't play Alireza. He plays, yeah, some IMs, and probably he gonna win every single time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's just hit a quick puzzle here, guys, before these guys are returning. So what are we supposed to do here? So there is a bishop here, there is a knight, there's something b4 happening, I wonder. Is there a piece sacking somewhere, sacrificing anything? is there something simpler and I'm overthinking? Do you have to do this kind of stuff? Pawn takes. Or do you have to take first? Why? Or do you have to do this? Pawn takes. Or do you have to play rook takes? King takes? And then this. Oh. So actually, guys, I think forget about knight and b4 nonsense. I think it's simple. I think it's, well, simple. Simple if you kind of find it. Rook takes d3. That forces white to take, right? If you don't take, nothing else matters. You know, there's a Metallica song, Nothing Else Matters. Anyway, I just remembered. So, rook takes d3, king takes d3. And then you play bishop c4, you check the king, and it's a skewer. I was explaining today at the summer camp to some kids the difference in between skewer and pin. How in the pin, the smaller piece is in front and the bigger piece behind. How in a skewer is the bigger piece in front, the less valuable piece behind them. So rook takes, king takes, and bishop to c4, and then you're going to take the rook. And that would be having 3 minor pieces versus 2 minor pieces. So that should be winning for black, right? Should be winning. And now we're going to take this guy here. You attack the g2, and medium long term you win here. If it's a bullet, I think the player with the white pieces should keep playing maybe a bit more. But this is won by black. That's it. 3 minor pieces versus 2 wins for black. And the g2 is also takeable. And that's it. f3 attackable. And I'm not sure. Yeah, that's it. Black's winning. All right. Until Nepomniachtchi gets a sandwich. I don't know if he gets. I mean, I would take a sandwich if I was. I don't know. Or maybe he takes 5 sandwiches. I mean, I don't know. I would take 5 sandwiches. Okay. White's a play, right? Okay. So there is a bishop here stopping me from promoting. How the hell do I block this? What do I do? King d6 makes a lot of sense in terms that pawn c4, c5, and eventually c6 when you're blocking with the pawn. And king d6 stops, by opposition, stops the black king approaching. And king d6 can't be attacked by the bishop, so you kind of safe, and it's a long-term plan, but it works. You're going to get a queen in like 7 moves or something, 6, right? So you're going to, yeah, I think so, totally. Because the question I was actually asking to myself and to you, my friends, was how exactly do I block this bishop? But there is another thing, you see. You play king to d6, David, which I don't say it's wrong. What if this guy does bishop a8? But who the hell cares? You're still going to play the same sequence, c4, c5, c6, with or without the bishop, doesn't matter. Yeah, king d6, yeah. King d6 or king b6? King d6 or king b6? Is there any difference? King b6. No, because the black king has a bit of chances to get in closer. Yeah, you need to keep the king opposed, so to speak, right? Yeah, I think you need to keep the king opposed. So king d6. Yeah, shouldering. That's the verb we're needing here. Bingo. Now, black king played g5 because they wanted to make space for the black pawn to move, but I think we just go with our c4 guy. Yeah, that's the bloody thing. That's it, guys. Yeah. Yeah, David, you got it. With a little help from my friends, that was a Joe Cocker song. If you guys know of it. Just a little help from my friends. I think he sang it at Woodstock, firstly, right? Whoa, what am I doing? Whoa. I didn't even think. I was just moving stuff. Jesus, I'm getting a queen, of course. I wasn't focusing. I was just thinking at songs and things. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna become automatic. The more you're using the annotations, the more you're using, the more familiar you get with the annotations, and you're gonna get instinctively F3, C3, C6, F6, and everything around them, and you're gonna get them automatically. Yeah, you just need to use the annotation a lot, reading games and stuff, and yeah, it's just a matter of individual acquaintance, and you're gonna get there sooner or later. Yeah, I don't think that's a big problem or anything. You don't need to turn it into a problem or stuff. You're gonna get very straightforward. Yeah, it's okay. I don't see that as a problem. Okay. Uh, just get a PDF or get some annotations and just reproduce the moves yourself. Even if you, let's say, study an opening on League Chess or chess.com, invariably you having the letters and the numbers in front of you. So, you use them anyway. So yeah, keep reading the annotations and stuff. All right, what am I doing here? This guy is attackable if I had a queen. So should I do queen and wait, is white's turn, right? So I'm white. Okay, cool. If I do check, I could take this guy. Okay, let's go get the points. Yes. Check. And checkmate now. Oof. I was lucky. So I saw the bishop and then I was looking for practical ways to get the queen actually attacking on c5 twice, and that was it. Sometimes I see it, sometimes it takes ages and I still don't see it. Now I may have this, and after this also I'm attacking this and whatever. I think it's bishop f2. Unless there is some crazy... Nah, that can't be it. It's bishop f2, man. Yeah, that's it. So now we take, they take, and we grab this guy, right? It's got to be this. Is there a checkmate? Oh, no! It's rook d5, for Christ's sake. You're winning the piece. What am I talking about? Of course it's rook d5. You know, one second of not paying attention to the subtleties, 1 second, you want to simplify, you think you saw something, you want to grab the pawn, and then you realize, whoa, boy, that's actually a full piece for me available. If I am just to recognize the pattern, the things, yeah, that was it. Yeah, I was like, I've seen it in the last second. I was stuck in the previous plan, and it wasn't the most infallible. Now, that's a big weakness here on f7, right? Is it bishop? No, it's the queen. You got to get closer to the target. And then I don't know. Yeah, then you take the bishop. Okay, let me take on f7. Can you play bishop g5 check? Then bishop takes. And then you checkmate, bishop g5. No, forget it, man. It's checkmate. It's checkmate. It's bloody checkmate. Bishop g5, and you go to f8 and checkmate the king. Crazy. Absolutely spectacular. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. White to play. Okay, the heck am I doing? Am I white or black? White here to play. So what do you want me to do? What's this? What the hell is this? Do I have to play? Do I promote this guy? Okay, they're going to have some checks here, you see? They're going to have some checks. That's for sure. What do I play? They gonna do some checks. Okay, let's assume I'm pushing the pawn, right? So rook's gonna check me. I'm moving here, then they're gonna check me. I'm moving here, they're gonna check me. I'm moving here. Where? What other check is here? There's no other check. I'm getting a queen eventually after like 6 moves or something. So pushing the pawn, they check, 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 and then I'm moving here and I don't care. After like 5 moves, I get a queen, right? So I'm going to go F7, right, guys? Am I correct? Yash, David, am I correct here? Do I go? Do I go F6, F7? Ah. Oh, oh man, what the hell is wrong with this? Oh, disaster. What the hell is wrong with this? Is it checkmate or something? What is this? I'm getting a queen in. Oh, come on. Is there a checkmate? I didn't look at C5. That doesn't make any sense. Rook. What? Oh, I'm getting checkmated with rook a2. I thought the only check is just d7 and stuff. Oh no. Oh no, it's king c1. It's a very big threat. It's king c1, and after a2 you're gonna play this. Can you imagine how sick this puzzle is? You have to play king c1, king b1. And then you're gonna comfortably pushing the pawn, right? It's king c1. I mean, what do you do? Yes, it's freaking king c1. I can't believe that. It's king c1. Yeah, but I've seen it too late. Who cares about this? I've just projected the wishful thinking. It's actually just rook d2, just a couple of checks, and I'm going in a corner. My God. That's a shame. Well, David saw it. I didn't see it. But he saw it. You know. So what's going on if I take, they go in a corner? That doesn't work. Probably I need to sack the queen. Queen f7 check. Rook takes. And then pawn takes check. Whatever. Rook gonna be back rank, right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Pawn takes and this guy. Okay. I'm sorry I missed. I screwed up the previous puzzle. They are tricky. Actually, I didn't envisage the danger. I didn't see the threat. I thought the only thing that might happen is just that lousy check, but I didn't see the rook takes a2. I didn't. I rushed it a little bit. I was super confident about that thing. Well, it happens. So, have our boys returned? Oh man, they started. All right, guys, which one is which? Which one's which, fellas? All right. All right, they started now. What have we got here? Caro-Kann defense, the two knights attack. For those of you that are playing the Caro-Kann, this is it. The moment for beautiful instruction here from this Super GM's playing. White do stuff now. What do you do? Knight g3. What do you play? You play pin. What? Bishop d2, bishop c3. What do you do here? I don't play this. I play the hillbilly shuffle gambit. I don't do this. What do you play? What do you do? g3. Jesus. You want to go bishop g2? Yeah, of course you want to go bishop g2. Why would you do g3 if you don't do bishop g2 after all? Yeah, bishop d2 with bishop c3 ideas. Makes sense. If you ask me where would I put my bishop, I'd have the bishop on c3. He castles short, seemingly. Well, not seemingly. For sure he castles short. I can see that unless I'm deluding completely. Bishop d2, bishop c3 makes sense. Could you do b3, bishop e2? You know, I don't know. I don't know yet. b3, bishop b2, I think better than bishop d2, bishop... I don't know. David says a lot of stuff. So, yeah. David says a lot of stuff. Which is very good for him. Bishop d2, bishop c3. Yeah, makes kind of sense. Okay, let's see another one, guys. We're going to come back to this one. So let's see. Dominguez, Perez, Nepomniachtchi here. Who's who? What? white to play. Hey, that's a Sicilian. That's a Sicilian, guys. No, it's not what I played today with. It's not what I played today with Xavier. Xavier played knight b7, and he played d6 and a6 knight off type of pawn structure. So yeah, white to play. Would you throw some knight b5 for the sake of attacking that queen, or would you rather just castle first? Queen d3. Queen d3 says many things. Queen takes. Okay, bishop c3. There you go. I don't like this for white now. I hate allowing my opponent to play this. And also targeting c3. What do you play now? Let's say queen d2, right? So let's say bishop takes, queen takes, pawn takes. Yeah, but then bishop a3, you're not gonna castle anytime soon. Okay, interesting. May I say interesting? Queen d3. Yeah, queen d3 makes sense. Well, you have to move the queen. What about queen c4 though? Really, what about queen c4? You're talking about queen d3, queen g after? Or what? What's wrong with queen c4? Queen c4, queen takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop a3. Good for white. Is queen c4 that horrible? Well, of course. So queen c4, queen d3, queen d2 is, I hate it. Queen c4, queen d3 probably. Queen c4, knight e7. So what's the problem then? Well, no, it can't be because the queen is hanging. Queen c4, queen either takes or goes away. So if you do queen c4, black queen takes, or you move queen, right? I don't know. I don't play this with... I mean, I played it today, but I just retreated my queen though. Yeah. Hi, Simul. Thanks for stopping. Thanks for visiting the stream. So queen c4, queen takes, bishop takes. And if you give up your beautiful bishop for the knight, giving white double pawns, still not a big problem after bishop a3. I think white enjoys the bishop pair. So white is slightly happier, right? Now you would say, if it's that obvious, white already should have moved. He didn't move nothing. I want to lose a pawn, having my queen hit again. Knight b5 is actually quite creative. I like it. Knight b5. If bishop captures, you take with tempo. King gonna move, and then gonna grab rook. Knight b5 is actually a stuff. Stuff. Queen c4. Queen takes. What? Queen c4. Queen takes. Bishop takes c4. Bishop takes c3. bc3. Knight e7. Bishop a3. David, the line that you said, I think white's better. You don't think white's better in that line? I think I'm enjoying bishop a3 stopping for the time being black from castling. If you do knight e7, you still can't castle because I'll take your knight. But I have to say that move knight b5 is quite creative. And I suspect Dominguez didn't move because actually he thinks about this kind of stuff. So kudos to you, Simul. I think actually that's probably the reason he didn't just move queen d3 or queen c4 or something along. That's the reason, because he thinks about knight b5 and all the tactics that could stem from it. So probably that's the very reason. I love it, guys. When you're so creative with this kind of tactics, it's just brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it. Knight b5 is actually a move. Yeah, take whatever you need, man. Knight b5 is actually a move. You okay? Just put a slipper on it. Tell her. There's nobody? Oh man, get a slipper. Kill the spider with a split. Okay, I have to go on a mission to kill a spider. Right, guys, I gotta go on a mission to kill a spider like it's a tarantula or something, I was told. Probably it's not. Probably it's a tiny little spider. But someone is very scared of spiders and I have to do something. Oh man, okay, let's go kill the spider. I'll be back. I hope Spider-Man won't take revenge afterwards. Or I hope I won't become Spider-Man myself. That's just okay. Let's take the slipper and kill the spider or something. I don't know. What do I do? Okay, I'll be back, fellas. Apologies for this. I have to do something. Right. Right. Yeah, it was a big spider. Yeah, it was. It was. So I did what I had to do. I'm sorry. Okay. So where were we? What happened here? What was the last stuff? Looks like Dominguez has to play. So what happened? Bishop e3 developing. b5, which is a common thing in this Sicilians. a6, b5, very common stuff. Followed by bishop b7. In the Yugoslav, you got the f3, g4 and stuff, moving, and castle long. That's not a dragon though, because there's no g6 and bishop g7. I mean, you could go there if you really want to, but I guess you're gonna waste the tempo, right? Again, the bishop on c8 here wants to come to g7, b7, apologies. You gotta develop this guy, right? Where do you get it? You're not gonna go h6. You're gonna go e7. So you're kind of ready to castle. It could be something about f4 and then e5, perhaps. Well, you gotta be careful about the b7 though. It's and also you have to be careful about okay, a5, but this guy is actually takeable. Okay, there's a couple of things. Maybe rook a b8 and then you push. Maybe. Maybe. Um, Castle Long. Yeah, but Castle Long still feels weird. I don't know why. Maybe don't do no castling for the time being. Maybe just focus on attack. Oh, and you're playing against Jan Nepomniachtchi, and you've got 11 minutes, and Jan Nepomniachtchi has 26. Yes, let's go to Hikaru. Good question. Yes. Yeah, good one. Good. Yes, spot on. So, what is Master Nakamura doing here? Yeah, he kind of does the castling now. Rook E, because that's where the black king is. Hey, what the hell is this going on? What's this stuff here? What the hell did they play? E4, C5, Sicilian again. Is the Grand Prix attack? Or is the bird opening? What? Is it the bird opening? E4, F4, C5, D5, Bishop B5, like Rossolimo bird stuff, hybrid things. E4, C5, Sicilian, right? F4 is the Grand Prix. F4, D5, Bishop B5, check, Bishop D7, blocking, takes, and Queen takes. Okay. Sicilian, right. Black castle short. If you're on a castle, you only have to move king to F2. Yeah, but you move king to F2, and that's where the rook is. Bishop D2. Very weird position Hikaru chooses to play. What's this stuff with the king on E file? The king was supposed to be on the G1 square if you ever castled. Very weird he plays, right? This is so weird. There's such a weird looking position here. E file is not the file for the white king to be, right? King shouldn't be on E. Should be on G, I guess. Okay. What can I say? I mean, black can play rook D to E and rook here and try to open up everything. Well, everything means like the F file. So he pushes down, he attacks the knight to tempo. There you go. It might be a rook coming. Then you're going to drop, you're going to move the king away. Rook takes, like nothing ever happened. Yeah, after all, it's playable. Knight G5 also, bishop takes, pawn takes. Okay, I guess. Weird, but I think you can play it. I think they kind of all aggressive. Yeah. I think this is the only way to play. Yeah, you have to play aggressively. This is the only way to play. I mean, no, that's not true. You can play also passive, defensive, closed positions, not open and sharp and things. So yeah, you could play positional. Yeah, so yeah, that wasn't quite accurate. Yeah, you could play. I mean, it was more like a recommendation. Personally, if I am to choose in between aggressive type of play, tactical and positional enclosed, probably I would go for sharp lines and things. But sometimes you need to defend. Oh, okay, that's something cool. But yeah, I think you have to move the king away from the E. You don't have to keep the king there. There you go. Whew. Finally, he decided to move the king. Okay, that looks more human. That looks like a human approach. King F1. Then rook AD. That's how it's gonna be. And we'll see. We'll see. Rook AD. The other rook goes on E as well. I think it makes sense. And then see what you can do. Knight to G5 in order to play knight to E6. I think that makes sense. And you attack like very many pieces and stuff. So the white knight on F3 wants to move on to E6. H6 would be something prophylactic, David. Yes. Understanding the danger from your opponent means you have to play some prophylactic moves exactly at the right time. So yeah, in order to prevent the very uncomfortable knight G5 for knight E6, you would have to push H6, I guess. Yeah. Yes, I agree. I agree. So probably you just have to play H6 every now and then. Now even more likely to. Totally. Totally H6. I mean, it could be some others too. Let me see. Oh, bishop F6? Yeah, but that's just... No. No, not bishop F6. No. h6. But h6 comes with another problem. Comes with knight h4. But I guess after knight h4 targeting g6, you could just play king h7. And I think it's quite good. It's cool. It's good. So h6 to prevent knight g5. And if white decides to suddenly go knight h4, then you're going to play king to h7, and that's it. But I did say about getting rook to e, because that's where you want to get your rooks. And white also want to get rook a d1. The question is if actually he's going to go for knight g5, knight e6 anyway. King f7 can't be played. It's not playable. I don't think you're going to do this. It's knight g5, and it's just horrible. I don't think so. I don't know. Knight g5 does not allow king f7 anyway. Knight g5, I think it's a good one. I think you kind of have to play it, I guess. You could do some other stuff too. You could do what? Well, rook a d1 or knight g5. One of these two, I think. These are the candidate moves here. That's how I see it. Knight g5 or knight e6 and rook a d1 to, get the rook on the open file. h6, knight h3, king f7. Yes. Now I think it's acceptable. Yeah, that makes sense. In order to centralize the king and to lend a hand for the rook on the e-file. Yes, I agree. h6, sorry, knight h4 and king f7. Yeah, but he went for the trade. He went for the trade and rook ad. Always surprising, these guys. Always surprising, especially Nakamura and Ali Reza. They are so surprising. Beautiful. Rook ad? Well, you have a discovered attack after bishop c1. Yeah, but it could be knight here, forking, and then you're going to have to give up on the bishop, and then rook takes stuck in you on f3. I don't know. Okay, bishop played here to stopping you in the future? Okay, what the hell is going on? It's many things hidden here. Out in the open. Hidden out in the open. For whoever has eyes to see. I guess... what do you play? Well, you can play knight to d3 now. Or you can play knight to h3. But then h6, and then you're going to have to waste the tempo moving back. What are you going to do with that knight? Nah, I think the way is probably knight d3. Or maybe bishop c1 first? But bishop c1, you're wasting a tempo because rook e3, and then you have to give the bishop, and then rook takes. But then rook d6. So maybe you cannot. Bishop plays. Sorry, knight e3 doesn't work because bishop takes, and when you take, yeah, but you attack f3. You do rook d6, but they take f3. And then you take what? Knight or bishop? You take bishop, right? And you still attack c6. Very, very complex here. Did they draw? Oh, man. Levon drawn. Interest? Who drew? Who drew? Oh, MVL drew. Yeah, he drew with Ali Reza. Let me have a quick look at the final position here. How the hell do you draw here? Is this a draw? Does that look like a draw to you? I mean, if we agree on, we can make a draw anytime, right? But does that look like a very obvious, clear draw here? I mean, it's already a draw? Really? With 20 minutes on the clock, 16, 20 minutes? I think it's a strategical draw. It looks like a strategical draw. I mean, you got like a billion pieces on the board now. How is that a draw? The c3 is under attack anyway. So you have to move this guy. And if you go b2 or d2, it's a big difference. There's many things happening here. It's a huge stuff if it's D or if it's staying on the B and stuff. I'm not sure how is this a draw. But then again, maybe they wanted to make a draw and they didn't want to force it or anything. they were happy with the draw. But that's not a draw by any means. I mean, even if it's equal, it's a lot of moves to play. Very many things will happen here. No. Okay. They didn't want to fight. I get it. Maybe they didn't want to. Yeah. Okay. Back to the remaining games then, guys. Okay. What is that? Hikaru Levon here. Hey, I'm happy he actually went for knight e3. Because that's how I saw the future for this knight on f2. You can't go anywhere else. You go d3, and maybe if you got a chance to playing this kind of stuff, but maybe first rook e1, and then you're gonna play knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. Really? There is something with the launching the knight on e5, one of these two knights, but you need to have some rook. King f7, I think David said king f7. You're going to play rook d1, e1, right? You can't attack on the d file because you got those two pieces. You need to move those guys around. So maybe bishop c1 first? I don't know. Or you're going to play king f2. Okay. Or you're going to play king f2. King f2 to prevent knight e3. No. c4. Really? c4? Why c4? Encouraging the bishop? Opening up the door for complications with the b4? Any of the two black knights can play on b4? Really? c4. How the hell c4? Okay, that's a surprising stuff. Probably it's a super grandmaster stuff for sure. He is a super grandmaster anyway. Yes. David, what's your honest opinion on c4? There you go, knight e3. I said it like ages ago. Knight e3. That forces you to take because you are in check and the rook is being forked. And now you're going to have to play king f2 to defend this guy. Yeah, king f2. Yeah, David, I don't like it either. I actually hate it. I don't think it was a very wise thing to play c4. Really? Like, really? Because you wanted that knight to move or something? What? Oh, come on. I'm not sure what to say about c4 move. I'm a bit skeptical. I'm a bit skeptical about c4. Oh, let me ask if... Right. Right. Yeah. Yes, you need to introduce some special type of regulation if you want this thing to prevent from happening. Yeah. But yeah, I understand Matthew, and I kind of inclined to say similarly. I mean, yeah, some folks might just very well settle for a draw and yeah, to increase some chances for co-national and things. Yeah, but it's probably should be some extra regulation perhaps to stop this from happening. Yeah, it happens probably on many levels with many players, sportsmen and stuff. Yeah. Okay. A rook e4 being played because king f2 attacked the rook. b3, sure, b3. But look at the tremendous gift that Nakamura gave Levon with c4, b3. If this is not the strongest bishop ever, I don't know what to say. I mean, this bishop is just enjoying himself too much. And you can't do nothing against. Well, you could just throw some knight on e5, right? You kind of can? No, you cannot. It's 3 attackers on that square. You only have 2. You lose. You can't throw knight e5 now. You could play rook e1 though and get rid of the rook. Your guys are on light squares, but there's always a nagging knight b4. I don't know when and how attacking your guys here on a2. What do you play? Rook e1, get rid of the rook? Maybe. What else do you play? What else is here? You give up a pawn for something? I don't know. I don't know. Rook e. Rook doesn't have to take, does it? Because you can't take it yourself, because the pawn takes and it forks you 2 knights at the same time. It doesn't work. Rook d2 is like a waiting move, David. So rook d2 looks like you're not doing anything. Playing rook d2 here? Why? To just having bishop c3 and then I have to mess around with the rook. I don't know. Knight e1 though kind of makes sense, so to speak. You can just play your own rook somewhere. Like rook d5? Although I'm not sure what you're achieving, but it's not clear. Yeah, okay. What do you want to do? This and that and that. Ah, okay. Knight g2, knight e3, knight d5. It would take you like a lot of tempi, but probably makes sense. Probably makes sense. Well, there are these 3 guys, Matthew, on dark squares on the king side, and your piece's activity on the dark square is nearly impossible now. So you won't be able to get the rook on a1 and protect this guy when it's being attacked. You see? So that's the thing with the bishop on f6. It takes a lot of dark squares. You can't have your pieces activity on a dark square. And then again, you can't play rook a1 to defend this guy if it's some knight b4 coming. And the more you push the pawns, the more attackable the other guys from behind are, you know. So I don't know what to say about c4, b3 thing. And this bishop is very strong, I guess. Looks like incredibly strong. And there you go. Knight b4, exactly as I said. I just said, if it's any knight b4, you're going to have to sort of push the pawn. Knight goes back, but now those guys are on the same 3rd rank, potentially a bit weaker. You know, knight c2 now. Okay, right. I guess it's playable. These guys are very resourceful. So they will they will get water from stone. But anyway, I suspect knight c2 wants to go e3 and then d5, and makes a lot of sense. So I think this is how he sees the knight on c2 doing stuff. Knight e3, knight d5. That's what I think he wants to do. And he hopes that he does a fork and he captures the bishop and stuff. Of course you want to capture the bishop. That doesn't mean Levon's gonna stay with the king there. Or he gonna do something. After you play knight e3, he gonna do something. I don't know what else you could do here. There is something here. If you do knight e3, which I think makes sense because you want to go d5, right? So you do knight e3. Can black respond with bishop d or something? Let me see. You've got 1, 2, 3. They've got 1 and 2. But boy, oh no. Rook d3. Rook d3, another multi-purpose move. It defends b3 just in case. It's a bit of a waiting move though, right? What else do you want to do? So he didn't play knight e3. He played rook d3. He didn't play rook d5. He played rook d3. Okay, it didn't worsen the position, I think, with anything and stuff, but it didn't add. There is one little tiny thing here. Could it be rook e3? Could it be rook e3? I mean, if you play a bishop, I'm going to take your guy. You're going to take back whatever, and then I'm going to trade off rooks anyway. Okay, but now we got g5 by Levon. This is getting very sharp. Step by step now, we're going to see something incredibly sharp here. It's going to be really, really sharp now. It's a struggle here. It really is a struggle. It really is a struggle. Knight e3 for knight e5. I did speculate knight e3 a lot. I did speculate knight e3. And knight e3, not just, apologies, and not just the d5, fellas. There's also a massive hanging pawn on f5. So I guess black gonna push the king? Move out of the fork and defending f5 and things? Maybe. So you play king e6, David? It's just one of those softwares, Matthew. That was an automatic message by the software that I paid the subscription for. And this guy's, of course, promote itself and things. So they promote itself. Knight d4, though, this is getting really convoluted here. Knight e4, defending f5, if I may say that, and just freaking defending f5. And if you take, I'm going to make an almighty pin here. You're not going to move your knight. Just look at the ideas these people come up with. So again, knight d4 defends the pawn. He didn't move the king, which probably I would have played, David. I gotta say, I would have played king e6, but no way. Levon, no way sauce. He goes knight d4. If you capture, bishop takes and pins your knight. You are pinned. Me neither. Me neither. I have to tell you. Neither do I. These guys are phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Knight d4. How creative they play. It's definitely more aggressive, David. It just is more aggressive. It is. Because it's an active way to be dealing with a challenge. He was presented with a challenge. And rather than playing defensively what we suggested, king e6, which, by the way, it could be identified by the software as a very legit move. But no, he came with a more psychological adding to this. And looks quite efficient. It looks quite efficient. It's like you either get yourself in a pin or you better not touch that knight. You see? Formidable. Absolutely formidable. Yeah, probably. Knight d5, check. Now you change a little bit. I think it's playable. It's a check, and the bishop is gone. Knight d5, king moves e6, knight takes f6, king takes f6, right? And then the things, I think, are quite cool for white. Let me highlight this for all of our friends. So knight d5, which is an old idea we did have. Knight d5, king e6, knight takes f6, king takes f6, right? I think it's cool. Then you can take on g5. Maybe you could push b4. Okay, we got a few things to do here. Yeah, there is a few things happen. Hey, there is another funny stuff, man. Oh my god, we gotta be careful about... So you play knight d5, king e6, knight takes f6. What if black throws an in-between move with rook? Yes, exactly. Yes, bingo. I've just read your message. Yes. So let's do a recap here. This is sick. Knight d5, king e6, knight takes f6. Fair enough. Cool. Rook e2 as an in-between move. You're in check, right? You go f or else. But then also don't lose sight of the fact that I may even sack an exchange. I'll just take your black knight. And when you take it, you no longer have support for the rook on e2, David. Have you considered that? So I understand what you're saying, and I think it makes sense. I like it. I like your idea. So knight d5, king e6, knight takes f6. You play rook e2, king f1. You know, that rook is a little bit vulnerable. As soon as the knight disappears, rook is gone. So I don't know what to say. There is also another knight that will jump in, take your defender away. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. You could do a check and that's a... Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm not convinced. I'm not... So what I want to say is that I'm not really convinced about rook e2 things. Oh, he certainly is thinking about it. Oh, yeah, he is. That's why he spent so these minutes, because he just does that. He's thinking about what we're discussing, and probably more, and probably more. Very likely, more stuff. Yes, yes, of course. Anyway, I would definitely play knight d5, king moves, and I'll take on f6. I don't think rook e2 is any big danger there. Actually, black has to be careful about it, right? I hope I'm correct. Well, actually, that's how you win or lose a game. The other guy sees more, or you see more than the other guy. They still have some available time. Levon even 4 minutes and a bit more available for Levon. Thanks for this. Thanks for reminding. Of course, absolutely. We should, totally. I got stuck in that one. What other stuff happens? Fabi Nordibek. Hey, Prague. Wesley Prague. Wesley Prague. That's it. Let's see. Whoa. I don't want to have white pieces here. Oh my God. I don't want to have the white pieces here. That's it. I don't want to play this. Jesus. Bishop and queen completely paralyzed here. Any activity. Look at that crazy X. And rooks. Any rooks coming on the C file, and that was it. That's it. Game over. Jesus. Is there anything you could play? Well, I guess you could play knight c3. Okay, that looks very sharp. What? That looks very sharp. So you play knight c3 and you attack the queen. A rook a to c8 might happen. Pinning your knight. You pinned. You can't move the king anywhere. I don't know. Knight c3 first and then rook he, maybe. Like, maybe. Assuming black queen is going to move. But it could be rook ac. So no queen is going to move anywhere. Also, if knight c3, rook ac8, okay, you're going to play rook e1, right? Okay, queen's going to go somewhere probably. I don't know what somewhere means anyway. Probably g6 for potential bishop a2 and queen b1 checkmate. Rook de. It's painful. It hurts to think about that. I think it hurts to be white now with the white pieces. Okay, knight c3. It's that thing that I said I would play immediately. It's insufferable. I can't play this with white. I hate it. So knight c3 to pretend you're doing something. I mean, okay, you attack the black queen. I get it. And now Prague is going to play rook a c8. You're not going to move the queen anywhere. Just play rook a... Okay, you move the queen. Gee. Why didn't you play rook ac? Oh, okay. Fine. Okay. If you do rook ac, you pin the knight, and then you can play bishop a2. Maybe you're going to just play queen b1 checkmate, right? David, I'm not sure if they got 10 sec per move or something, or 30 seconds. I can't remember. I need to go back and read the format. So this is a very instructive one, and that's very cool because Prague is going to be winning, right? You don't have any bishop with white, so you can't make any pin or anything. Black's winning here, right? Especially after rook ac, bishop a2. Is there anything left? Maybe a draw. Okay, we'll see about this. The king on c1 is super unhappy. All the light squares that he created a weakness is now... How do you manage the white squares now? What do you do about those squares? Okay, rook de. Okay, I understand. You move the rook away from the bishop. Fine. Okay. Okay. Fine. Do you think this one is a draw? Maybe. You don't have any leverage on the white squares, David. So no light square for white. Black is completely holding the light squares. A rook is coming on the c, pinning the knight. You can't move the king anywhere for the time being. Don't forget, there might be some rook d7 or rook ac8, and there you go. I just said it. He moved it. Okay, queen had to go. And now you tell me what's going to happen. Is it going to be rook ad for just simply moving rook d2? I think you got a problem with this. White has a problem with this. If rook a d8, you have a tiny little problem here. You can't trade off the queens because e6 is covered by the black bishop, notice. So you can't do nothing about taking queen off the board. Rook a d8 is unstoppable. And after rook d2, I'm not sure what you are playing. Rook hf. Okay, can we just get the queen over to h7? Just leave it there for a while. Rook a d8, there you go. There you go. That's exactly what I think I would have played. At least I've identified Prague's best attacking moves here. So I'm happy about my findings and your findings as well, guys. Okay, rook hf. You said rook hf, but then again, queen h7, and kind of that's it. If there is a check, I guess we can even go h8 with the king. You have no bishop. Black's next move. If you give black a chance here, if you allow black to do stuff, black would do rook d2 immediately, threatening check. And if you go b, you're going to have this covered from the queen. And if you go d, you're going to have this covered from the bishop. So which way you go, it's horrible by the looks of it. So if you... Okay, so that's a move with tempo. Check. Queen to g5 checks the king. Rook d2, as we said, and it bloody hits the queen. It hits the queen, and... Sorry, but Prague is winning, right? Queen f3. Queen f3 for what, exactly? You can't do nothing on those white squares as long as the bishop stays there. You don't have any check, you don't have nothing. Prague's winning, right, Dave? How do you finish? What's the killer move here with black? What's the plan? It should be something. He needs to find it in 50 seconds. That's when Super Grandmaster makes the difference. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Are you going to sack? Rook takes on b2? You need to find the killer move here. Rook b2. King takes. What do you play next? Queen takes? Check. Then they're going to take the other guy. Wait a minute. Rook b2, king takes. What is next? You play rook? They're going to take your bishop. Are you sure you've got a checkmate coming? There is still a knight here, though. You can't do b5 or stuff. Black isn't winning. Well, at least you got a perpetual or something. Can you do queen g6 or something? No, he blocks it with the queen. Yeah, queen g6, exactly. There you go. Queen J, he's going to play queen f5. White's going to respond queen f5 or maybe queen e4. Well, Wesley has like 7 minutes. So black isn't winning, you say? Huh. Queen f5, queen e4. Which one of the, in between the two? Which one is it? Which one is it? You can't block. Wait, whoa. What did I miss? Is there a blunder somewhere? Did I do a blunder again? Why? Is it the back rank? Oh my god. No, wait, there is a knight though. What? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I see it now. Yes, you can't block. You can't block the check. Oh, you can't block it. Is queen gonna come on c2? Is queen gonna move c2? Or not? Okay. I was about to say, what if rook b2 now? And if you had taken then queen c2? Wouldn't that be checkmate? So rook takes g. Ah! He wants to move the other rook on d2. And then that's really something. He wants to move the other rook. And he wants to do rook, knight takes, and rook plays. And that's... Yeah. What? No, he want to play rook d8, d2, right? Although it's a problem here. But you move. Oh, come on. Yeah, but then there is a rook. Yeah, but then you block it. No, you can't. Oh, man. This is very time consuming. Do you know what? I'm sorry that Prague has got only 12 seconds. I'm really sorry for he got only 12 seconds. This is just not enough. Queen g2, yeah. I like it. Queen g2, queen takes, rook g, queen takes, rook takes. You gotta be super careful then, but you gotta be careful with the back ranks. In principle, I understand what you're saying. Queen takes, rook g. And then, but then pawn goes though. You take, pawn takes. And when you try to, maybe they can play rook to d. You know, there's a couple of things. Queen takes, rook plays. Oh my god, they moved already. h3, exactly right, David. Yeah, exactly right, h3. But look at this turn of events now. Knight to e4, he blocked with the knight. And bishop now attacks the rook. Rook in danger. Do you come up with a bigger threat or do you defend? It's like two main attitudes in chess. You create a bigger threat or you just simply play defensively. Well, the only threat I can see is just knight f6 check. That's the only threat. There's no other threat here. After knight f6, king goes h8. Do you have any other check? You might have something interesting with Queen C3 discovered check. Another big headache. It will be very time consuming for Prague, I'm afraid. So let's do this. Knight f6, King h8, Queen c3. And black will have to be very, very, very accurate, I guess. Wesley would have to play some surprising, shocking, no, some unexpected moves, so to speak, if there's possible, some a little unexpected moves, which are not blunders, though, mind you. I mean, you can't do blunders too. So you need to play something unexpected that is time consuming. He did do something though. Rook d1 now. I mean, you take my rook, I'll take your rook with check. It's not like it's nothing. It's serious. It is serious. I think Prague is he had to take, and now rook is threatening rook d8. Together with queen c3, I think you got an issue. Rook pins the rook now. You can't play d8 check because the black rook pins you. Knight f6. And there's also some queen a8 checks and stuff. Very difficult. And if you go king g or h, you're going to play what? Queen c3? King h8, I did say that. Is it queen c3? Oh no, you can't do queen c3. Rook takes your rook. Oh my god. What the hell do you play? Queen a8? My god, what? You can't play queen c3. You're losing. Oh my god. Maybe he should have played knight f6 before rook takes or something. Sorry, maybe instead of rook d1, white should have played perhaps knight f6. Perhaps. I'm not sure. But it's very, very sharp. What did white do here? Okay. Queen a8 check, and the black king gonna play g7 attacking your knight. You can't move the rook because it's pinned. And if you take, black queen's gonna take and you're done. It's... Yes. Looks like now... Yeah. Do you know, David, in the second I open up this game, I just hated the white pieces because... I mean, I'm incredibly uncomfortable to playing this with white. Okay, what's going on? Oh my god, it's it is what is. You think it's a draw? Okay, the bishop can't target the white pawns because they are all on dark squares. The black knight might jump around a bit though. And the king can be well, the kings will clash. They will go both of them. Okay, that's a forcing. Yeah, okay, now the kings would go to the middle of the board. Okay, black can always play h3 and stuff like that. King's gonna attack via g6 and knight will have to move. He moved before anything happened. What do you want to do? Sorry, what's the stuff? This and that. It's not clear. No, you have to move the king. Knight has to stay on the dark square. Pawn is on the dark square. King gonna play e3 when the black king attacks the knight. You keep the knight on the dark square. As long as you keep your pieces on a dark square, the bishop can't attack nothing. So if you keep your guys on dark squares, at least you are safe-ish from the bishop. And you can try some king activity or some threefold repetition. Yeah, it might be draw. It might be draw, David. I agree. I agree. Maybe. So now king e3. Yeah, there you go. King e3, exactly. King e3 defends the knight. Okay. Okay, this is a draw, right? What do? The bishop can attack nothing. The bishop eventually... I mean, the bishop cuts off the knight from going on the squares. But what else can you attack? You actually have to be careful. If you push a5, white might play knight d5 and target b6. So you have to be careful about this stuff. Also, those guys are disconnected. Yeah, king g4 makes sense. Sure, absolutely. King g4 with the idea that if you go with delay. I agree. But Wesley goes for bishop a6. Um, Probably he will be playing this kind of stuff and things. Well, you can play whatever you want with that bishop. You could go whatever you want. And the king will try to play something like king g4, king h3, I guess. So bishop e7 would not allow knight e5. I guess, right? Okay, and king g4 makes sense. Yeah, I think I agree with the Z. That's the case, yes. Uh, okay. So far, so good. Yeah, phenomenal games. Absolutely phenomenal games. 1 minute now. Knight d5. I did say about this move. Bishop b7 also. And now, you're going to go back, right? And then king g4. So knight c3. Ah, for this kind of stuff? Well, it makes sense. Knight b5 for knight d6. But the king's going to move anyway. They're not going to keep the king there, right? You're not going to stay to get him forked. But given the fact you got 5 seconds or less, you might bishop c6. Okay. So there is no knight b5, by the way, because the bishop gets all the light squares. There's another fork. And you got to decide quickly in a few seconds. What do you do? King g4. No more forking. You play this. I don't know. They go here. Again, taking all the light squares from the knight. So knight d4 and then bishop d7. And you're not going to go anywhere with the knight. You got to go backwards and choose a different route. And in the meantime, you've got a tiny little issue with king h3. This is serious. If king h3 and h2 being taken, you got a massive problem with those two. Even doubled, there are 2 passes coming in waves. You got to be careful about that. It is something. Bishop d7, just to win a little bit of time, getting the bishop on a nice square, staying at distance from complications and forks. Prague, I think, conducts itself very, very beautifully. Okay, king f4. King e2? Okay. Well, the black king can't move closer because that's check. Okay. Are they going to draw? You have to be very, very, very careful. Can you play b5 and then some d4 or c7? But you move the knight away. If they play this and that, you're done, I guess. So the plan for black, I guess, it's like king g4, king h3. So what? Look, Wesley had, yeah, David, thanks very much for you being here, my friend. Appreciate all your wonderful insights. See you on the next one. Cheers, mate. Take care. 16 seconds, 15. Come on, Wesley. You gotta do something. But what? Well, you can play knight d1 and knight d3. Knight d1, knight d3. I guess you kind of can. Still, the pawns are on dark squares, so the bishop can't do nothing about that. Oh, to trap the knight. Now that's next level of subtlety. Yes, I love it. This is just brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's check, by the way, now. So yeah, that would be nice. Allowing the knight take on a7, then you position your bishop on d7, trapping the knight, so to speak. That's just a subtlety. Yeah, yeah, that's a subtlety. Sort of. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. I think it's just brilliant. It's commendable. It's really brilliant. I like it. I like the plan. Yeah, it's a classical trapping of the knight. Yeah, if knight were on a7 and your bishop on d7, suddenly the knight couldn't kind of move. Yeah, I like it. Good stuff. Now the knight attacks the pawn. Interestingly, look, this is kind of not done. This is not really finished. There's still some struggle here. Even if material is equal, there's still some happening. Look at the bishop now, guys. Look at the bishop. Look at this. There's he kind of blocked the knight, so to speak. No more that blocked, because the king attacked the bishop away, and now the knight is free to play on g2 or f3. But the black king will take those guys. Oh boy, this is so not finished. Wesley had more than double time than Wesley. Sorry, Wesley had more time than Prague, like double. And now all of a sudden, 50 sec to 40 sec. I mean, it's negligible. It just doesn't even matter. Unbelievable. Hikaru Levon drew. MVL Alireza drew. The only fighters left, Nordibek Fabi, Wesley Prague. Okay. I don't know. Is it? How does white... You need to break through. You need to take that b4 pawn somehow. How do you take it? I understand what you're saying, but knight to g4 and you're going to lose the h6 pawn. I'm not sure that's so finished, Daisy. I'm not sure. It's Wesley, right? Can you play knight g4? He wants to fix it first. Because if you play knight g4, the pawn goes forwards, right? So does he want to play h5 first, fixing the pawn so you can take it for sure with knight g4 and you take? It could be. It might be. Yeah, but he played h5 because exactly of that. But exactly because of that. But can you play... Okay, he wants to come this way. But then the bishop's going to play g6, and that's about it. Oh, man. a5 is not quite enough, I guess. White pawn is on a dark square. Exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. I mean, bishop g6, even prophylactically. So you're not going to touch this pawn. Knight played anyway on f6, so you have to keep your bishop. You have to keep your bishop on this diagonal. Well, not e8, but definitely f7, g6. You could play like this for a while. Probably a draw. But the knight's gonna do his stuff. You got a fork here on d6, folks. You got knight d6. One little fork and the game's over. One little mistake, one little something, and the game is done. You could still play checks, or maybe knight f6 now? Yeah, but bishop's gonna go f7 defending. It's a struggle. Yeah, sure. You target h5 you're talking about. Yeah, but the bishop is gonna play either f7 or f3. You're not gonna take that pawn. If you move the king away, black king's gonna take the b4 and then you lost. The white king can't move away from c3. You need to keep b4 alive. If you lose b4 with white, you're gonna lose the game, Dizzy. So you can't lose b4. So white king has to stay exactly where they are. You can't move the king anywhere. Good stuff is that you're not going to get checked or anything. King moved away. Or you could have a check and then you jump around a bit. Okay, king centralizes itself, but the black king goes back on b5. And then you're going to have to play king c3. They're going to do a threefold repetition now. King b5, king c3, and stuff like that. What else do you want to do? Okay, look, after king... Okay, knight g3. Yeah, okay, bishop g4, f7 or something. What? You want to play this? The bishop's going to go again. Knight f6, bishop d1. What exactly are you going to do? Yeah, that's not very... It's okay. I think they should call it a draw. Yeah, you're gonna play bishop g4 or something. I mean, whatever. I guess. I guess any will do. Is there any big difference in between? Given the fact that you're playing just for a matter of seconds now, I think they're just moving, waiting for the other guy to blunder. So someone probably gonna blunder. Bishop f7 or f3, and you have no issues. Yeah, bishop f7 or bishop f3. And king back, and if king b5, king c3. I think it's a draw, probably. Yeah, that's a draw. What do you do? What else do you do? Knight h3. That's nothing. It's not going to work. King c3 now. Again, if you lose b4, game's done. He forces now. He decided. He took with the king, interestingly. He took with the king. Okay, the only thing left for black now is this guy that will be moving down and down and down and down. This is the only game left for Prague. This is the ticket. This is the only choice. The only thing happening that could be winning for black is this pawn. Bishop attacked. Where you gonna go? You go e8 just to hold everything. There you go. Bishop e8. White to move. What do you play? Okay, b4. You're not gonna go past b4, but you can make either king or knight stuck here to stop this guy. But you're gonna push the pawn though, and the black king maybe wants to attack like this. So actually, you don't have to push the pawn. You have only to move the king. Leave the pawn here because the pawn and the bishop cover more squares together. So I don't think you have to push b5. Exactly. You march with the king. Exactly. Bishop protects the pawn. Leave the black pawn exactly where they are because it takes this square and this square, and just try to go like this. Oops. Bang, boom, bang. And try to go like this and attack h4. And the bishop e8 just holds it all. Defends the sky and does not allow king to play b5 and attack that pawn. It's just a brilliant ending. Brilliant ending. If there's anything, that's the only plan for black, I guess. There you go. Whoa. That's it. Draw. Because that black pawn, yeah, that's it. Done. Done. Crazy marathon. And they still have one more round rapid to play. But I'm going to have to call it a day now, guys. Desi, thank you very much. David, thank you very much. Yash, thank you very much to all my friends. And for the all other revisits. Thank you, my TikTokers, friends, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and Kick.com. So, guys, I would love to coming back tomorrow and covering maybe some other rapids and things. If you want to submit some of your memorable games that you played against title players, feel free to. And yeah, subscribe my YouTubes and check my latest video. Thank you, my friend.